I'm Scott Alabiller. It's the 25th of October, 2022, and we're walking by the cutest little kitten that we just have to stop and say hello to. Look how cute this little kitten is. Oh my gosh, he's scared. He's like, yeah. This is my vlog of daily life in Leon, Nicaragua. Welcome to the show. It is a Tuesday, and it is a hot one today. I'm actually filming this tomorrow, as I generally do, and it's overcast at the time that I'm doing this, which just happened. Today it was very bright, no rain whatsoever. A very cute little dog looking at me. I'm going to stop spinning the camera around and showing you all the little dogs. I am able to record in the morning, which never happens, so I'm walking a different direction because I have different sunlight. And of course, the clouds came out, so it doesn't really matter which way I'm walking because I got great light no matter what. But today, one of the challenges that we just run into, and everyone does, when you come to Nicaragua is there's a lot less food variety than we're used to in the U.S. And this is for a variety of factors, but that it's a small country in the middle of Central America is a big one. It is just difficult to get some of the things that we love from back home, and some of the things that we do love are expensive. For us, being the vegetarians that we are, one of those really big things is fake meat products. Now, they do exist here, and quite a few of them are pretty good, but getting them can be difficult. So, for example, there are certain products from Morningstar that are available. One of this, but a lot of them are not. So in the United States, Morningstar has a very large line. Here they have a very small line. It's mostly just the black bean burgers. And of course, they're more expensive than they are in the United States, which is not a big deal because everything else is cheaper. So if you're making a hamburger, it's probably going to cost a little bit more, but not a lot because like the buns are cheaper and all the condiments and stuff. But it's still not a great deal. And the bigger issue is that we can only get them in Managua and only in large volume. And so we have to get a lot. We have to freeze it. We have to store it. Like, it's a big thing. So one of the things that Dominica is working on is making equivalent foods at home. And so today, the thing that she's working on is one of the things that Luciana misses most, or at least one of the foods that she loved most back home, which is Morningstar veggie patties. Morningstar breakfast sausage patties, specifically the maple flavored ones. We used to eat these all the time, not just Luciana, all of us did. We would have them with breakfast, we'd have them as snacks throughout the day. It's something she would just throw in the microwave and eat. And of course, they're a little bit salty, but overall, they're a pretty good snack, high in protein and all of that. And they were tasty and really easy. You just put them in the microwave and you got one heated up. It's ready to go. So it was really popular for us, and that's something that she ate a lot. And it's hard for me to believe she's 11 and hasn't really had good access to them for 2 years, because that's, like, in my mind, that's just the food she eats. But she was 9 the last time she had regular access to them. When we do go home, she always eats them at her cousin's or whatever, but it's not the same. It's very, very little of it. So Dominica worked on that this morning and actually came up with a recipe, or found a recipe, or came up with a process for making some that are really surprisingly close. She hasn't mastered the maple flavor yet, but she has a good patty that's good to eat. We need to get a patty former so they're shaped more like the commercial ones. Or from a texture and flavor perspective, she's getting really close already. And obviously it is a fraction of the cost, and potentially a little bit healthier. I don't know how much healthier. It's probably very, very close, very similar ingredients, but it's the big deal is that it'll make it much more accessible. We can have them at hand all the time. We don't have to buy huge bulk and then run out and then wait for someone to go to Managua and get big bulk again. And we don't have to worry about supplies running out in Managua. That's a real thing as well. A lot of things that we like to get are hit and miss. It's not that they're not coming back. It's that they get them in huge shipments from time to time. And when they sell out, they have to wait for another huge shipment. And since we're only in Managua once in a while, you can sometimes go months without getting something just because of the pattern that you fall into. So being able to make things like that at home are a really big deal for everybody. It saves a lot of money, and it makes a lot more foods accessible and keeps them more reliably accessible. So that is a huge project that she did this morning, and we're pretty excited about that. And tomorrow her plan is to try the same thing again, but instead of with the breakfast sausage patties, she's going to try it with the hamburger patties, because if we can eliminate that too. So the sausage patties we don't have access to at all here. So that fills in a missing gap that we're really concerned about, or really missing. The hamburgers we're just paying too much for, and it's inconvenient. If she can do both, then we're in really great shape. Now, the girls like the Morningstar ones. There's also a company here in country called Prasad that makes really good veggie patties. I like them a lot. We use them at the hotel, but officially they only sell to restaurants. Now, we're able to do things because obviously we own restaurants, so we can have our restaurants buy them and we can have access to them. So it's not a huge deal, but you can only buy them in Managua. You have to ship them on the bus. They're rather costly, and it's rather inconvenient. They don't make them all the time. You have to really schedule around it and have big volume, and just it's a lot of work. And again, expensive. So if we're able to do that at home, that lowers the cost. And in theory, if she's able to do it at home, we're able to do it for the restaurant as well, lowering the cost there too, and potentially increasing variety for the restaurant. So lots of reasons why it makes a lot of sense. So this is a really important big project for us now that we've been here, now that we know we're going to be here, and figuring out how to replace missing things in our food ecosystem, if you will. So big morning for us. After that, it was a work day for me, very busy. Lots of meetings, just like yesterday. I'm spending a lot of time doing training and stuff with the team. So I've been doing that a lot of the days. And then this evening, because we didn't get to go out to dinner last night. Last night we had the emergency that Dominica and I were about to go to dinner, and then she had to run to Chinandega and deal with an emergency at the hospital. So not for her, for someone else, but we had to deliver food and money to take care of someone at the hospital. So tonight we went out to dinner instead, and Paul had a huge winning at the casino today. He just constantly, I don't know if I've mentioned this, constantly cleaning up at the casino. He is up thousands and thousands of dollars this year. And for a Nicaraguan casino, those are big numbers. That's like being up tens of thousands in a U.S. casino. It's really wild. So he won big today. So he pretty much took us all out to dinner. And we were going to go out to Sua. Dominica wanted to go out to dinner, but she's so tired of trying things because of the whole onion thing and the pepper thing and the being vegetarians. It's just so difficult to try new restaurants here for her. For me, it's not too bad because vegetarian, like, I'm okay with just eating beans. I'm okay with just eating fish. Like, there's a lot of things I can just, you can just give me an onion and I'll be okay. But because everything, especially the things that are vegetarian, have onions and peppers in them, she's really in tough shape to be able to eat much of anything. And when you go to a new place, you never know if they're going to understand when you say you're allergic and you really can't have them. And sometimes you go to new places and you say you're vegetarian and they give you meat anyway. Like, there's a lot of learning curve to a new restaurant for us. And with the language barrier, it's just one step harder, which reminds me I need to tell the Chitoma story for people for when we were in Costa Rica, but that's for another time. So it's really challenging. So she just wanted to go to Sua. She wanted to try something, but I was looking around just trying to find if there's anything different, and I stumbled on some pictures of Korean food, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. There's no Asian restaurants in Leon. We have a really nice one, Dragonfly, up in Chinandega, but that's 45 minutes away. Having something here, unheard of. So we have a couple Chinese restaurants, but even some of them have gone out of business in the last year, which is really sad. There was a Cantonese place in Guadalupe I really wanted to try. Never managed to get there before it went under, but really their menu was so small and limited. It was all meat. There was just nothing. I popped in and I was like, oh, there's nothing I could eat. I was hoping to stop in sometime and convince them to make something vegetarian, but never managed to do so. And the other places, often they're not real Chinese, or they're really expensive, or they just have nothing that Dominica can eat. It's very tough, and there's only a few. But of beyond Chinese, there's just nothing here in Leon. In the rest of the country, of course, Managua, lots of choices. So I saw these pictures, and I'm like, what am I looking at? What is this? And it's Tsuky Amy Coffee, which I knew the place. It's up in Ruben Dario, really close to us, really close to Duumo, a little bit west. It's actually in Sutiaba. And I think it's in Sutiaba. If not, it's right on the border. Then it would be in Saragossa. And it's just a cafe, I thought. So I looked at the pictures and I'm like, this menu shows ramen and sushi and Korean food. And they're like, what? I'm like, I will run up there and check it. And Domenica's really wary, but I talked her into it. So I ran up, because it's really close. Ran up, went in, and this is interesting. So I thought it was just a coffee shop, which I thought was weird because it's not a spot where I would expect there to be a coffee shop. And their whole vibe from the outside is not very coffee shoppy. But okay, but it's called Tsuky Amy Coffee. And as I got close, I noticed that they had Asian style lamps. I hate saying that, but I don't know how else to describe it. Paper Chinese lamp kind of things hanging under their awning. So I'm like, okay, they're making a point of just this little bit of style. Like the water just poured off that roof, but it's not raining or anything. That was weird. And so I'm like, okay, this has got potential. So I swung in, and the whole front of the place is actually a K-pop store. So they've got Oh my gosh. I didn't know there was a bakery here. Someone asked me to show our local bakery, and I didn't know about this one. Hola! Buenos dias. I don't even know what bakery we're at that I showed it, but there's one of a lot of the bakeries are really small. Just these tiny little places on the corner. I'm right here, kitty cornered from, do people still say that? From Mihuna's. And oh, it's behind this little unnamed shop that I don't know. But so this right here, this big yellow building is the theater. This is the Leon Theater. Beautiful building that I've never been in. I have no idea. One of these days we're going to get a tour of that. We're going to figure that out. And then this is Mihuna's bar right here, which I like a lot. Nice place to go hang out, have a beer, listen to some loud music. I like sitting outside. Okay, so that's where we are. And there's a little bakery right there. Not a big selection, but those are the traditional items. And we're about to walk past Oasis del Sabor, one of my favorite restaurants in the city. Since we were talking about that, I have a hair on my glasses that's stuck in the... It's driving me crazy. Okay. Wow, totally got derailed. So this K-pop store. So Korean pop music and anime store. So t-shirts and posters and stuffed animals and other like collectibles for K-pop. Like this does not fit in Leon in any way whatsoever. This is one of the weirdest things that I've come across in a really long time. Very, very strange. And so I go in and you walk through the shop. Here, I'm going to spin this around so you can see this is Oasis del Sabor. If you're in town, highly recommend this place. Great crepes, calzones, and pizzas, and they do a stuffed crust pizza as well. Really good service, and the best cherry limeade anywhere. Way better than Sonic for those familiar with Texas. Now, oh my gosh. So, I'm not sure what has happened here. Don Pepe's is there. This is a new place that I have no idea what this is. It appears to be a new restaurant? It is a new restaurant that we have to check out. I've never heard of this place, Rabagoo, and it is between Oasis del Sabor and Don Pepe. What? What? Okay. Well, you were here with me when I discovered it. And they're on Ugo, so I, in theory, can go check their menu on Ugo when I get back and see what's up. What is up with that? That's awesome. There was not a restaurant there before, and this is really close. This is walking distance. Obviously, I just walked here. So you go past this K-pop store, which is weird. I have no idea why there would be something like this in Leon, Nicaragua, let alone Managua, right? Or the other way around. But in the whole country, I'd be surprised. That it was here was really surprising. And on Ruben Dario, on the west side of town, like not downtown somewhere where all the shopping is, it's all very weird. But so that was a shock. And then you looked in and there's tables and stuff. I'm like, okay. So I just walked in and went to a table and there was very few people there. Obviously, you can't tell it's a restaurant. I don't know how people are supposed to figure out that there's a restaurant here. And I have no idea why there's a shrine in the street today. And so I went in, sat down, looked at the menu, she's selling milk cakes. They're the big thick ones that they're like sweet. It's almost like pudding. But it's like a little bit thicker, so it's like a cake. They're pretty good. I like them. And I've never eaten here either. Cute little place. I'm gonna walk down this little side street. We never do this. This is technically third, but it doesn't go anywhere. So went in, sat down, got the menus, took pictures of the menus, sent it and the location to Paul and Dominica. Said, okay, I'm here. I can confirm they're open. They actually have food we can eat. It's actually Korean-Japanese fusion. Get down here. So they came right down, and I texted the kids, and I'm like, here's what we found. They're like, yes, we want that. So they were super excited. Oh, my buddy's here. Hola! ¿Cómo está? We always elbow bump. It's COVID safety. Buenas tardes. So the girls are really excited because they love Asian food and they like exploring new food. They're picky, but they really like trying new things. They're like, yes, we're so excited about this. So I sent them the menu. I told them what they had, and Paul and Dominica came, and we all decided to get sushi. So Dominica and I tried everything we could. They have California rolls, which work for us, and they have Philadelphia rolls that work for us because we do eat shrimp. And normally Philadelphia rolls are salmon, but they don't have salmon here. It's very hard to get. There's a dog actually touching my leg. Hello. Hi. Oh, hi. And He's very interested. He's still, like, his nose is actually on my leg. Oh, he's wagging his tail now. Hello. Um, and they had kimchi rolls, which is spicy Korean cabbage that's fermented. Very, very good. We really liked those. They had onigiri, which is, in this case, it's kind of like sushi meets a tuna salad sandwich, which I don't think it's how it normally is. It was surprisingly good. Not what I was expecting in any way whatsoever, but surprisingly good. And they have a lot of menu items that we want to try. They've got ramen items. They have a bunch of Korean things that I don't know very well. So I'm really interested in going back and testing things out. The service was nice. People were great, like really friendly. It's a little family place, obviously. And we're really excited about having found it. And there were two really adorable cats. There was a little white cat that I think was the mom, but maybe it was just an older kitten, and a tiny little black kitten. And the two of them were playing. They go around into the tables, and the white one was actually on our chairs before we got there. Very cute. And some people did come in and have dinner. So there's probably watched like 4 tables go through the place during the evening. So, I mean, there's some business, but surprisingly, or unsurprisingly, very, very small. I have no idea how places like that stay in business other than only having a tiny family staff. Cute houses here. This is a road we rarely come down because it's kind of a in-between road, but coming right up on 4th here. And so dinner was really nice. Paul also got, and I forget what they're called, but it's here they call it salchicha, but it's basically corn dogs. They're tiny corn dogs done in a mixture of Korean and Nicaraguan style. So weird. I don't even know how to tell you about all this weird food that they had, but it was really interesting. It was good. We had a really nice time, and it's a cute little venue. Our local garbage guy's going by, and I'm on the street heading down towards Maxi Pali, in case anybody cares. And so once we finished eating, ordered food for the kids because we wanted to try it out before we ordered for them. The food does take a really long time. It's a very small place, so everything takes a long time to prepare. Don't go there if you're in a hurry, but if you're just looking for good food, very, very cool. And so the girls decided to order exactly the same things that Dominica and I did. They wanted all 4 different sushi items, the onigiri, the kimchi, the Philadelphia, and the California rolls. So we ordered all of that, and I walked it back to them for dinner, and they loved it. Both of them were just like, this is fantastic. We really like it. They were so happy. And both of them, same as Dominica and I, they want to try a whole bunch of the other things. Like there's a bunch of like Korean pasta kind of things that they really want to try. So we're going to go, I'm going to take them at some point. I think they're really going to like going to the place because of the whole vibe and the K-pop store and all that stuff. Like they're going to be really excited about this. And it's so close. It's one of the closest restaurants to our house, which makes it all the more weird that we hadn't known about it before, that no one knows about it, and that it's what it is in such a weird spot. Like we're in a zone where everything is traditional Nicaraguan when we find it, or like a steakhouse, which is still just upscale traditional Nicaraguan. All very surprising. And so after they ate, we sat down and we watched The Adam Project on Netflix. Buenas tardes. Oh, buenos dias. That was the lady who, if you watched my flood episode, she's the one that came out with her, I think, granddaughter. And we're like, you got to get out of the street. This is really dangerous. You shouldn't be out here. I am at the Maxi Pali. I'm going to show this right over here. There it is. And actually going to go for a walk this way. I was not expecting to get back so quickly. Liesl declined to watch the movie, so Luciana and I just watched The Adam Project together. That is just a Netflix movie that came out pretty recently. We decided it wasn't one of the greatest, but it was really good cast, really strong, and it was entertaining. Like, nothing wrong with it, just it wasn't the strongest movie. It was very contrived, it was very predictable, but it was cute, definitely a bit cheesy, seemed kind of low budget, except for the actors were really big, but overall, good movie. It was worth watching, and we knocked that out. We're hoping to start watching Doctor Who, but it turns out somehow we lost Doctor Who. We have BritBox, but they got rid of it. Disney Plus is supposed to get it, but doesn't have it yet. We own all of them on DVD, but they're all somewhere back in Texas in storage. We're not sure how we're going to watch them, but the girls are interested in starting again, especially now that the 14th Doctor is David Tennant once again. It really ups the interest in what's going on with the series. So that was our day. Now, real quick, Please remember to like and subscribe, comments below, ask your questions, anything you want to know, Nicaragua, food, Leon, all that stuff, go for it. And if you'd like to support the channel, please look at the links below. There's Buy Me a Coffee. That comes directly to me and really means a lot. And of course, tell your friends about the show and share on social media. So today, the throwback, 3 years ago today, on the 25th of October 2019, it was 1 week to go until this is kind of a neat one. We've been doing the vlog, I've been doing the vlog for a week. At this point, I'm going to cross the road here. So we now have established a week of vlogging. Like, it's become a thing. And we're heading to Nicaragua. That's Alan and Rachel and I in a week. So this is the midpoint. 1 week of vlogging with 1 week of vlogging to go before we go to Nicaragua. So it's a pretty neat point. There wasn't a lot going on. Played some Nancy Drew with the kids. I worked on some projects for a nonprofit here in Nicaragua. And today's the day that we named One Nica, which is now 3 years later, the company that officially has our hotels and all that. So all that happened today. I did some website design, and that was about it. Not a real eventful day, but kind of an important one in that we've established that the vlog is now a thing. Getting a week into it kind of makes it feel real, and going to Nicaragua in a week it's really in the countdown now. It's just a few days to go, starting to feel it, and that's going to be obviously a really big deal that we're going to be there soon. At this point, I had been, and this is sad, I'm going to mention this. So there was a show about Nicaragua, and this is one of the reasons why I do this show, and I've mentioned this briefly before. Before 2019, we had an office in Nicaragua, so I've been involved here for a long time, working here, had lived here previously, and in like 2017, 2018, I'd spent a bunch of time. We had made the plan that Nicaragua was going to be our company headquarters, and we had a lot of like things we were planning to do with it, with being in Nicaragua and reasons we wanted to be here. And we had told a lot of potential staff about it and talked to them. And one of the things that I used consistently as a guide to help people discover Nicaragua was a YouTube show called The Trans Travelers. They were based in Granada and traveled around Nicaragua for 6 or 12 months, something like that, and filmed a bunch of stuff and did a really good job of editing together some good travel shows about different places. And importantly, they went to places that were off the beaten path. So it wasn't just more Granada, more San Juan del Sur. They did things like went to Matagalpa and made like 3 episodes. They did like, here's a city guide to Matagalpa, and here's a going hiking in the mountains guide to Matagalpa, and here's a resorts of Matagalpa kind of thing. And because Matagalpa is where our office was, and we actually did a lot in Nicaragua. We actually had an office building in Nicaragua for a while. And at some point, I was using those shows in the U.S. to show people, like, this is what Nicaragua's really like. You really should look at it. And they'd be like, wow, that's not the country I thought it was. And our staff in Matagalpa at one point was watching one of the shows. I'm like, yeah, check out what I show people. And they're like, wait, I know the people in this show, not the trans travelers, but the tour guide that was working with them. She's like, this is a friend of mine. Yeah, that's so-and-so. Why do you have a picture of him? And I'm like, what? That's from this show. It was just really funny. But anyway, so that show was really excellent. They did a really good job. And they're still on Netflix. But, no, they're still on YouTube, but all of their content's been taken down, obviously by them, not by YouTube. So at some point, something happened and they deleted all of their content off of YouTube, which is really sad because they had really good travel content about Nicaragua. I don't think they went anywhere else. It was just Nicaragua, but they had the best content of Nicaragua I'd ever seen, and to this day, the best I've ever found, other than my show, obviously. And it was a really big inspiration for me watching their show to be like, there's so much more to be done in Nicaragua and around Latin America. I really want to be involved in that. And then when their content was taken down somewhere around early 2020, I think that's right. It may have even been in 2019. It was really, now there was what little bit was there disappeared. It became a huge gap, and I felt like, wow, I really need to be showing Nicaragua. That's really something that is a need for the community, because this content from the Trans Travelers was so important that we could just show like Matagalpa or different things, and immediately people would be like, that is not what I pictured. My gosh, I want to go to Nicaragua. Like, it really was exposing how great the country was and how different it was than people imagined. And without it, Nicaragua was left without that way to give that message. And so that was a big inspiration for me to get out and film this country for you guys, because really no one else is doing it. I mean, there's some, and it was in English. That's a really important thing. And they weren't, selling real estate or whatever. That's all the shows you can find are people selling real estate. Oh, here's a house for sale that we have. And I say that, of course, we have some episodes where we've shown houses, but we're not selling them. It's just I'm out looking at houses, so I show them to you too. And we try to educate and stuff, because things are way cheaper than those other shows would have you believe in many cases. So, it's good to get information out there, kind of just informing everyone about the country. But that this was an English language show that wasn't selling a service was so nice, and now it's gone. So that was a big inspiration, and that was something that we were using regularly to learn about the country back then. All right, that is our update for the day. Make sure you've done your likes and subscribes and all that, and I will see all of you from Leon, Nicaragua tomorrow.